Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, XJW Corey. Now in this part 2, in regards to Jehovah's Witnesses having a connection with Freemasons, we're going to do side-by-side comparisons based off both of the organizations. And we'll see if they completely differ or are they completely, in essence, and essentially the exact same thing. Okay? So grab a piece of paper, a pen, a pencil, take some notes, do your research, and see for yourself if any of these things prove to be the case. Because that is what it's all about, doing research and understanding things for yourself and proving to yourself what is really so, rather than just listening to people who are completely biased because they're part of either or of these organizations. Get a completely neutral party. Okay, so in regards to Jehovah's Witnesses and Freemasons, both base teachings off the pyramid belief system. If you don't know that Charles Taze Russell got his beliefs from the pyramid itself and things that he learned from the teachings that originated with the pyramid, you don't know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, right? And then Freemasons have the entire same concept. That's why you see the pyramid depicted in a lot of things in regards to Freemasons and Illuminati worship, right? The pyramid is the very setup of their structure, making it to different degrees of the pyramid, with Satan, the all-seeing eye, being at the top of the pyramid, right? Sometimes it is likened to the eye of Horus, the beliefs of pagan gods that once, dominated back in the day. So the all-seeing eye, the Annual Sacrum, the new order of the ages, you'll see depicted on the back of the dollar. I mean, all of the symbology is out there, but both based their teachings off the pyramid belief system and all the things that go in essence with that. And let's go on. Freemasons use the Knights Templar symbol of Satan in their worship. Jehovah's Witnesses bear the exact same symbol of Satan on the earliest editions of the Watchtower, namely the Golden Age. Remember those articles? If you look at the top, you'll see the exact same symbol if you actually look and do your research. So ask yourself, what does a religion that's supposed to be the only way to truth have to do with Satanism? Like, you shouldn't even have the exact same symbols. Like, this is just like straightforward things that I'll say to any religion at that fact. But the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses bear the exact same symbol, the Knights Templar symbol of Satan, and you can see it like depicted right on the earlier editions of their Watchtower. I just don't understand how people don't understand when somebody's bearing the exact same symbol, that is in fact proof in itself of the roots and the connections to do with Satanism. So that's just something to really look into, of the exact same symbol that is used by both groups. Is founder 2, which is Charles Taze Russell, the founder of Jehovah's Witnesses organization, the president who once ruled alone as the elite over this group. On his memorial, beside his memorial tomb, you'll see a monument, an idol at that, of a pyramid right beside his memorial tomb a few yards down. And it'll say, pretty much all of the same symbology that you will see depicted in Freemasons, right? The Knights Templar symbol would be right in where the eye is in regards to the pyramid belief systems. The Knights Templar, that's a red flag in itself, the symbol of Satan, because Freemasons uses that in their brotherhood. Jehovah's Witnesses also have a brotherhood. And then also the fact that they use a pyramid out of all shapes. Bad enough you made an idol. And God said, don't make an idol, a carved image of anything on earth or the heavens, of fish in the sea. I mean, God hates idols, statues, and these things that are used as remnants to appease false gods and, in essence, Satanism, right? The Jehovah's Witnesses founder can do it and it's completely excused. But if anybody else do it, there'll be a quick call out as not being part of the truth. So it's just extremely awkward that they do that, and they do the two big red flags that everybody knows are connected with Illuminati and Freemasons, right? It's so crazy, the excuses that are made to justify, and people continue to say that they don't see connections when you literally are giving them the connections. A symbol of Satan that's used in Satanism, that's used in Freemasons worship, that signifies you to the brotherhood. Then you see Jehovah's Witnesses bearing the exact same things, and yet the brain does not comprehend the connection. I just don't understand how cognitive dissonance can be so visible in people that choose to stay blind and be brainwashed to these groups. But it's just something to look into as well with the connections of Freemasons, the fact that they bear the exact same symbols of Satan in both groups. It's just one actually admits it, that it's a Satan group, a Satanist group, while the other blankets it as, no, we're just doing what the Bible says, which makes it in essence worse than Freemasons itself. At least they admit who they are. Freemasons' primary goal is toward accomplishing what they call a new world order. This is when the entire world will be ruled by a small group of powerful elites who in essence becomes the equivalent of God toward the masses, ruling as a dictatorship that cannot tolerate being questioned. That is the overall purpose of the globalists, the Illuminati, Freemasons, the sellouts. They are doing everything to strive, accomplishing what they refer to as the New World Order, the new order of the ages. The new world is extremely important to them, right? The words that they use to is so blasphemy in itself as well. But then you look at Jehovah's Witnesses organization, with that being in mind, and then Jehovah's Witnesses are already under a one world government, ruled by the elitism of a small group of powerful men, namely the governing body, who rules all Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide. One small group responsible for everything to do with Jehovah's Witnesses organization worldwide. Whatever doctrines, rules, laws that they tend to make, every Jehovah's Witness that's dedicated must adhere to that, no matter what country or where you are in the world. These men still rules the entire infrastructure. No different than what Freemasons are hoping to accomplish on an even greater scale by means of government. The exact same setup, right? Again, which is extremely creepy. They are God in the eyes of brainwashed Jehovah's Witnesses, since anything they say becomes law and must not be questioned. Yeah, I know if you question the elites, you will be publicly humiliated and shunned. No different than what the Freemasons do as well, which we'll get into next. So, and they too support the New World Freemason worship by even naming their translation of God's word, you guessed it, the New World Translation. Do you not see the blasphemy of Satan right there? The connections to Satan, yet blanketing it, to blanket it as, oh no, this is for Jehovah. How can you not see the blasphemy right there? That is extremely dangerous and very offensive, right? You can't eat at the table of demons and sit with Satan and sell out to Satan and then go walk over to God and his son and be like, oh, but this is for you? I just don't get the logic that people maintain in their minds when they choose to just reject anything that exposes the group that they're in, because in their minds, it just can never be so. And that's so dangerous and makes it so weird. Freemasons elites operate in secrecy, hence the term secret society. They love to use these words because it's a society that is kept secretive from the majority of the masses, that they not know what really transpires with these elites, right? But they still live in complete, belief and according to this system that is being promoted. So a system that keeps hidden its true agenda for the fear of exposure, tarnishing all they strive to build. Jehovah's Witnesses adopt the exact same wording and actions by creating what they call, you guessed it, the Watchtower Society. Secret Society, the Watchtower Society. Same word plays, hidden in plain sight, the way Satan loves to operate. Satan loves to leave breadcrumbs to lead back to him. Then just to point out, like, hey, no, it's not Satanists. Like, they love to parade truth in front of you and then excuse it when you call them out on it, right? Y'all don't find these things so ironic, the exact same, just everything is so similar. Freemasons know the primary rule, especially in the Illuminati law, that I like to call it, is you cannot do anything that exposes your elites, or you will have what is called character assassination. This is a public shame where all lies abound suddenly, and they use the mainstream media to cause the people to believe the worst about the innocent person. This leads many Hollywood celebrities, especially, to early deaths, suicides, or made them mentally lose their minds. And we've seen this happen with Tupac Shakur. We've seen this happen with Michael Jackson. We've seen it happen with Prince. We've seen it happen with Whitney Houston, Britney Spears. We've seen it happen with just so many celebrities, man. Like when they start to speak up the truth of what's really going on, what happens? They get their reputation completely tarnished. The news story about them, they're on drugs, they're doing crack, they're bad people. When everybody starts to hate them, then it makes it easier to kill them off. So it's just extremely noticeable that the exact same practice is used in both groups. And let's explain as far as the Jehovah's Witness standpoint. So Jehovah's Witnesses adopt this practice and they call it shunning. Pretty much is the exact same thing, right, that the Masons do. When shunned, they tarnish an individual's character and assassinate their essence, who they are, their reputation. A name is better than good oil, right? Your who you are, what you stand for is the most important thing. So imagine somebody taking that and tarnishing that and calling you something that you know you're not. This is done for the purpose of humiliation and to shame the person. It is a form of punishment for questioning the elites. The elites do not tolerate critical thinking or questions because this can expose everything that they work so hard to accomplish. They're not letting that happen. And the flock is so brainwashed and indoctrinated, they're not going to even, consider anything you're saying. And that's why the shunning happens, it silences you. So they cast you out and shun you, which is pretty much censorship of your voice, that you may never be heard by any member that is still part of the belief system. So this man-made practice is justified by isolation of certain scriptures and misinterpretations to justify doing it, even though Jesus strongly condemns it. Jesus strongly condemns practices such as these, and God himself, as you read his word without the biased narratives of man-made literature, trying to pretty much give you an interpretation rather than you taking it exactly as it is written, right? So just like with Masons and how it breaks down these celebrities that you see all the time, this leads many to suicide, depression, and psychotic breakdowns of many XJWs who left the cult simply because they saw it wasn't truth. They'll have you believe that, oh no, they just did something completely unforgivable and bad, and they were just so evil, and Satan got them, and stay away from them. Like they have to do these fear tactics to keep you from finding out really what the truth is about their supposed version of truth. So they develop these excuses to try to justify the pagan practice that they once banned and didn't adhere to at one point in time. And then they later adopted the exact practice like the rest of the religions already was doing, of shunning and excommunication and just all of these restrictions and, ostracizing a person from a society. So just as Freemasons, they kill a person's character and censor their voices to keep their darkness concealed in secrecy, and others see this and shut their mouths for fear that they don't lose their lives or character and families, friends, all the things that you pretty much have built within this group. That's why they only want you to gain things through the elites, because the elites have the power to take these things right back and put you back where you started. And most people, that is a great fear, to lose everything that you worked so hard to accomplish and then be thrown out and cast out. It's extremely sad, and the connections still are made apparent. Freemasons initiate you as what is called a member. You can become a member of the Illuminati, a part of the secret society, pretty much a puppet that is being used by the elites and by Satan as they pull the strings and pretty much write the history of you. And Jehovah's Witnesses, they baptize you and they'll say that you are now a member of Jehovah's Witnesses organization. They love to throw that in there because it's like hiding in plain sight, right? Again, once you keep hearing organization, it essentially becomes the equivalent of Jehovah. That's why whenever they mention Jehovah in organization, they are pretty much the exact same thing in the eyes of the Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't want to admit that, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. You'll always see organization because that's who really they serve. The organization, the body, the government, the one world government, right? The new world government. It's just so much blasphemy toward what God was trying to accomplish, and how Satanists and these sects and these cults and these groups take all of these things and they try to wordplay it as if, oh, we're talking about the government of God and paradise, but that's not true. They're just using God as a cover up to push their agendas and enrich themselves and pretty much be viewed as gods and just do all of the things that man was not supposed to have in their grasp, that power of rulership, and to interpret God's word rather than God's word interpreting itself, which they claim that it is the best way. And then they go and tell you, no, you can only find it through our narrative and through us. We're only salvation, right? So Freemasons and Illuminati elites have high cases resulting in child sex abuse, molestation, pedophilia, and rape that is often swept under the rug thanks to the power that the elites possess in these groups. They can suppress information by keeping people concealed in a bubble, by flat out censoring, and with witnesses, they don't have to literally censor them because they can mentally censor them to where they already know you're not to look at any literature or anything that is against the narrative of what the elites promote, or you can get in some serious trouble doing it, So they already are censored by the teachings. It's already teaching them, keep your mind censored, keep it in this bubble, don't step contrary to the narrative or you will be shunned. So they know better. That's why when they watch these videos and they be disliking them and doing all this stuff, they try to do it in secrecy because ultimately, according to the governing body, they're not allowed to watch these videos because it's viewed as apostate material because it's not in essence with what the governing body teaches. So Jehovah's Witnesses that's indoctrinated and brainwashed, they just can't stand the concept of being wrong. So they have to get on the video still with their self-righteous attitude. They have to dislike the video. They have to probably throw a comment under there from a unknown account, or just something to try to, they're not a cult. I don't know, something to try to justify because they hate being wrong. As a Jehovah's Witness, you just always feel like you got the answers. You're right. You're the truth. Everybody else wrong. They're dead and they're going to die in Armageddon. I was once like that. They just can't stand the thought, so they have to be compelled to say something. But they don't realize that all of these things that are coming up against this cult, this group of Satan, is very much true. But they can't believe that because then it means everything that they strive to build was a lie. But it's better to be set free from the truth. A bitter truth than a sweet lie. And then, like I said, Freemasons, they have high cases of child sex abuse, molestation, pedophilia. All of these things dominates in Freemasons and the belief systems, as well as homosexuality and all of these practices that was used, to appease Satan and believe as sexual, rites and passages, and taking a man's masculinity, so to speak, and his manhood. Like all these practices are pretty much prevalent in Satanism. You can read about it in the books, and Henry Kissinger talks about it, and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, all of these groups and these quotes from the Satanic Bible, and people just don't seem to get it because they still want to blanket it with God. But both groups have high cases of child sex abuse. The Jehovah's Witness organization has been sued multiple times. They lost millions of dollars, hence why they are downsizing. They moved their headquarters out into Warwick. They are merging together the Kingdom Halls to try to gain more profit and enrich themselves. Not to mention that the attendance is completely falling in a lot of congregations worldwide. So to kind of save face, they merging congregations together to kind of make it look like an increase of numbers. So, to hide the fact that they're losing members every day because they're constantly shunning people and people are dying, not to mention people that just are inactive and falling away from it because they know it's pretty much crap. Like people that's still in it is extremely brainwashed. You probably will never come out of it. I mean, we hope they will, but the sad reality is many probably won't. And it's just sad that they conceal child sex abuse with the 2-witness rule. They try to make up excuses about it, but Jehovah's Witnesses are not police, they're not detectives, they're not cops. So when they make it like they must take it upon themselves to investigate before they take it to the authorities to see if it's true, that's not how the law works. If an accusation is pretty much brought to one's attention, go to the authorities, let them determine. They are trained for that. They have ways to establish, what's really going on. They got tests, forensics, and ways to see if somebody touched somebody, ways to track semen, all kind of things they got. And Jehovah's Witnesses do not have this at their disposal, and they are not even licensed to do these things. So how can they conduct an investigation and see if it's credible before they can take it to the authorities? You just report it. If somebody brings something to you, you just call the cops and let the cops figure that out. That's what they do. That's what the Texans do, FBI do, CIA. That's what they are trained for. I'm not going to just take it upon myself to just act as them and then put myself in a troublesome situation, which they have done, which, is why they have so many lawsuits against them and why they are downsizing so badly and why they're trying so hard to keep all of this stuff concealed, but it came out, so now they must do damage control. and make articles to try to pacify the brainwashed, who will believe anything they say anyway. So, and lastly, if you ask a member of a secret society cult, are they in one, the rule is to deny, and they will always use cognitive dissonance. They just cannot believe it, because they believe the illusion of what they want to believe, what you put in your mind, and it makes it so powerful. So they just reject anything. They just don't hear, they don't see it. It don't matter what they do. They can, get caught with a kid on their lap in something, and there'll be some justification. Maybe he was just witnessing to him. It wasn't that, because that's what they must do. And so it's to deny. And as a Jehovah's Witness indoctrinated brainwashed member, is he in a cult? And he will confidently tell you, no, we're not a cult. We're the truth. We're Jehovah's Witnesses, because that's just how they talk. And that's what happens when you're in cults. You just can't be wrong. You just can't see anything contrary to what you at least told you. But at least with Freemasons, they know it. They just openly lie about it. But at least they know that they're in a group like that. Jehovah's Witnesses, the members actually believe that they're not in it, which makes them much more dangerous than that of your average satanic group, So last time I checked, Satan's Empire was an extremist group. So ask yourselves, how is Jehovah's Witnesses not an extremist group when they have everything that is similar, identically to that of Satanists, right? And it's just so mind-boggling how people don't seem to grasp this, that are within the infrastructure. And I get that it takes people time, but the excuses that many made, like when I started to see things were true and I've done my research and people brought it to me, I didn't just shoot them down, act like their experiences wasn't validated and just acted self-righteous. I actually did the research and looked into it myself, hoping that I could prove them wrong the right way. And I wasn't able to, because I saw that all the things was true and I got out of it. Most witnesses just don't operate like that. But they are an extremist group, and they have so much power, these men, that they can cause witnesses worldwide to do anything that they say. And you had a lot of cults in history that led their groups to mass suicides, where they all just did a pact to kill themselves, believing that they were going somewhere else. I mean, it's just so much stuff. It's so much stuff. So that's why so many celebrities who sell out to Hollywood either become a Jehovah's Witness, or they was one, or they later became one. It's because the transition is so smooth, because it's exactly the same as Freemasons. So at least as they use the cover of Jehovah's Witnesses, it makes them look like they are, at least not so bad. And they're not really a sellout Satanist, but they already know the connections are extremely similar. That's why a lot of celebrities you see, they either was one, or they became one, or they kind of dibble and dabble in both sides, because it's pretty much the same thing. So just kind of like take these things to heart, pass this on to your neighbor, and just keep them awoke to know that this is an extremist group. It is, in essence, the exact same thing as Freemasons. Everything about it, the temples that they worship in, that they call kingdom halls, everything is, in essence, the exact same thing. This one is just being used as a cover to push God to accomplish their riches and their molestation and child sex abuse and their lies, and how they take paradise as if it's in their hands to give when it's not. And the government that God was talking about was not going to be made through a man-made religion. So just keep your heads up and understand the truth. And much love to everybody.